For everybody who's joining, welcome. We gotta continue talking. We should never keep quiet. We should never be intimidated. Today, the 5th of June, 2020, we keep talking. Nelly, welcome. Christine, welcome. You can leave comments or questions below on the comment section. If you have additional comments too, it's very welcome. Thank you very much, Nelly. Thank you. I mean, we're the youth, so, you know, we gotta keep the people informed. We gotta make sure our rights are heard and we exercise them freely. Kuyo. Omunene. Ombe mwachon, that shan. I mean, maybe we can start. I don't intend on having a long video like yesterday because, I mean, that was the beginning. So kind of like had a lot of things to talk about. But like my earlier post, I'm just going to talk about 3 things today, which is electricity tariffs, fuel prices, and meal prices. But the chili shanikash. Maggie, Uliche. Today I'll be a little bit diverse. I won't do this English thing too much. So let's get started now. I think, yeah, it's still a small page. We just started 2 days ago, so you can like the page, you can share this video so that, you know, we can get to more people. Make sure this movement grows bigger. So far, I'm impressed because we just started, so. Okay, the first point is electricity tariffs. What's really going on, guys? Electricity is high, you know, even when we're going through load shedding phases, you know, people are complaining about the number of units compared to the amount that they are spending on it. You know, why? Why is this, you know, going on? Especially in a time when load shedding is actually, you know, very high in Zambia. I'll take, for example, 1,000 kwacha. These days, they give you about 700, 600 units of electricity to punch in your house so that you can have power supplied in your house. But how is that gonna be affordable for an average Zambian? And this 1,000 per 600 or 700 units hardly gets you through the end of the month, you know. See if you kuma month end, then people have to look for another 1,000 or whatever amount they would be able to just keep electricity moving by the day. How does an average Zambian afford such high tariffs? You know, it's so sad because, you know, even in load shedding, people are still going through these, you know, unprecedented hikes of electricity tariffs, you know. It's really sad. But people need to wake up. This is the same thing I'm talking about. Like, we need to talk about these things, because if we keep quiet, it's just a replication of these things happening over and over and over and over again. Ngasitikamba ivi vintu vizambochitika, not at wambauli, into inochitika abuzuba, people will be complaining about the same thing. And even the government right now is not even talking much about this. I'll give an example. Like yesterday, I talked about, the Lusaka Ndola Road, where it was quoted for $1.2 billion for a 300 or 400 kilometer road. On average, it can be quoted for $300 or $400 million. So where did this 800 million surplus of dollars go to? And I end up with Timaafu, guys. These are the questions these are the questions we all need to be asking each other. Like, where did the money go? This money could have gone in agriculture. This money could have gone in health, buying more, medicine. We can't be building more hospitals when we can't even have supply of medication in those, entities. We can't have schools where kids are learning while seated on the floor. Like, why? In this time and age, after all these years of independence, we gained independence in 1964. Like, guys, come on. Chidi, how? So, like this $800 million, it's another good example about this load shedding that's going on. A chunk from that amount, Tinga Chosep, a chunk from that amount, that 800 million, that went in people's pockets, and they reinvested that money in other countries that may not even bring so much development to our country. They build mansions in Dubai, South Africa. Does it even make sense? Then an average Zambian cannot even afford 1,000 kwacha just to buy electricity for their house, for their household. So in this 800 million, we can take a chunk of it, and we can try to build solar plants, if possible, in all 10 provinces in the country. One in Wapula, one in, Eastern Province, one in Lusaka Province, one in Southern, one in Northwestern, one in Western, one in Central, all that, one in Muchinga. We can supply a solar plant that we can use the sun itself to supply electricity to every household in the country. The $800 million is a lot of money to invest in such a thing. We can surely have a plan that will supply that. And the government knows about it, but it's just misplacement of priorities. I'll go to the second point. I don't know if, if you have questions, comments, put them right here so we can talk about it. And continue liking the page. Follow me, please. And also share this live video so that it can get to quite a number of people. I'll talk about fuel prices. Fuel prices. Guess what, guys? Fuel prices are at how much? Moziba won't but Molly, you guys, my Bemba is a little bit messed up, but I have quite a number of Bemba friends who keep me in line. So, I understand quite a little about it. So, fuel prices up. It's at, hey Shayla, how you doing? Fuel prices right now, 1 liter equals pretty much to like 18 kwacha. Even again, I'll go back to the same question, like an average Zambian who drives an automobile out there, how do they, survive like this? Before the PF took over the country, in 2011. Before that, the kwacha was pretty much the kwacha of fuel was 1 liter to 5 kwacha or something like that. I still remember. Hence, we need to change the game for these politicians. We need to speak out as it's now getting out of hand and they're treating us youth as non-existing. Our voices are more than enough if we all come together and speak up. Sadly, I agree. Pretty much. I agree because, if, all these people watching this live, most of us, and of course, we are the majority of percentage in the country between 15 to 35. We're almost 4.8 to 5 million people in our country. Imagine if we all just stood up and talked about this nonsense to stop, The government will listen, The pressure, all you need is the pressure. People listen, Welcome, Chomba. Yeah, so I was talking about 1 liter of fuel is 18 kwacha, if not a little bit more, under the PF government. Before that, it was 1 liter to 5 kwacha. Due to the pandemic, this is a global thing. The coronavirus is a global thing right now. And the gas prices are actually, they actually went down over a month ago. They went down drastically, all over the world. People were dropping the prices because they were not selling gas. Everything was on standstill. They were not selling fuel, Everything was on standstill and people were made to stay indoors, for their safety. But in Zambia, the gas or the fuel prices did not even reduce at all, They did not even reduce. When gas prices or fuel prices went to a point of people not selling, so these oil suppliers even got to a point of releasing this fuel from its reserves at $0, or since the dollar is messed up, $1 is 18 kwacha. So they were selling tons and tons of fuel at 18 kwacha, just to release it because people were not buying. And the ERB in Zambia couldn't implement this this thought of people benefiting from this. Of course, the pandemic, put everybody on the edge, but this is something that could have been beneficial for someone who's even pressed more because of the virus, So enough is enough. I agree, Chomba. Tata, we are the youth, This is a great move you've done. Kotuli backing. Dalomba tata. Boy karo, akuji following aji page, akuji jitachani guide, akuji sharing. Aba hiwe guide, para hibabuti, But I'm glad we're all together. So I was talking about gas prices. Sorry, I keep using gas. Fuel prices. They need to go down. At this point, even at a point of 10 kwacha per liter, it should have gone down to that point because of the pandemic. But, this government is taking us for granted, guys. Because we just complain a little bit, then they go quiet. They know the routine it's just something that's going to trend for 2 or 3 days and it goes quiet and they're on to something else, How sad is that, But this is the time we need to speak. It's our time, guys. This is my motto as well. It's our time, We have to make sure this should not pass us by, We have kids. We will have kids in the near future. This is something that, your son or your daughter will be proud about. knowing that, as a parent or as a youth, you stood in your time to fight for what is right. They say kids really don't listen to what you tell them. They listen to what they see, So they have their own attitude as well. So imagine if your own child is seeing what you're doing right now. You can tell them, oh no, this, that, we fought for, we fought for a revolution, but they'll ask you, what's tangible for me to see? That's why we need to speak, guys. We need to speak. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You have the right, you're under the constitutional right to speak, I'll go to my third point. I'm really trying to keep it precise today, which is the last point. The milli meal prices. This has been going on for a while now, almost a year, guys. Before the PF took over, milli meal was, a 25 kg was 30 kwacha. Please comment if I'm right or wrong, but it was 30 kwacha, But currently now, it's at 130, 150. At some point, it was over 200 in certain parts of the country, But still, even though they put price tags on the milli meal to say, okay, this is the government's price is 137 kwacha, people should not sell more than that. It's already like, times 4, because milli meal was 30 kwacha. Now it's at like 130. It's multiplied by 4. Again, I asked the same question. How does an average Zambian, guys, how does an average Zambian manage? A lady or a man in the village, how do they survive with these prices? How does an average Zambian survive? Of course, this is a chain reaction. When fuel prices are high, everything becomes high. So imagine if the fuel prices went low. If the fuel prices went low, guess what? Milli meal is going to go down. The prices are going to go down because the rate of supply is going to be equal to the demand of fuel prices. The more you supply with a good price of fuel, the more you see people supplying all over. Guess what? Like I said yesterday, the government is late in this supply of farming inputs. Very late. So we couldn't even even through the drought, we couldn't even harvest. So we had a shortage of milli meal. It's so sad that people have to queue up just to buy milli meal. It was like rampant. It's really sad, guys. Really, really sad. So I don't know how you guys feel about it, but for me, it's really affecting me. It's really, really affecting me because I have never seen such a thing. I have seen more dark days in PF government, under the PF government, just for the 8, 9, 10 years they ruled against the 20 years that MMD had been in power. I've seen more dark days in PF. They started well, but at this point, we're not gonna stand up for this. We're not gonna stand up for this kind of behavior. We really need to stand up for this kind of behavior that PF is portraying. They're really taking us for granted. Sadly, very sad affairs, Chomba, and all those are supposed to be our basic needs, our own food and the exhaustion of. I agree. In normal circumstances, basic needs like fuel, electricity, milli meal, food and fuel, those are things that should be easily accessible by an average Zambian. Easily accessible. But those are things that are even the most difficult to even handle as a bill in your house. It's really sad. We really need to say no to corruption, guys. We really need to say no to corruption. All this money, hey, Tamara, yeah, too many hungry and selfish cadres. It's just a few people eating. Trust me, as I move around in Lusaka or something, I see investments that I wonder, how just one person can have so many investments. Of course, there's no limit to anything, but there's just something wrong if someone just in the outskirts like Chongwe is struggling to get a bag of millimil when someone else over here is flashing out money, giving out cadres because they want to scare people and hush us. Does it even work like that? It doesn't. So, like I said, I was going to keep it precise today, and I'll try to keep my videos within the range. I don't know how long I took, but it should be just 20 minutes or so. But yeah, we should say no to corruption. It's our time. This is our time right now, and we should not let anybody make us feel like we cannot speak. Not even Bowman Lusambo, nobody. The president is supposed to speak out, but right now we haven't even heard of anything from him. Chela is speaking. Chela is speaking like a vuvuzela. It's just all over, and that's good. B-Flow is speaking. We can't talk much about King's Malembe. But yeah, Ken Dumbo is speaking, and this is just what we need at this point. You should know that your voice matters. Just like the way we speak about every vote counts, your voice matters. The mistake we made was voting into power that clearly stated there are no vision. Congratulations, Zambians, we played ourselves. We clearly did. We did. That's why I'm saying next year, guys, tikavote na nzero. Not because chinyimbo barelease au kuchinyimbo chakuti chivinisa abantu bonse. Ndiyo kwetienda. No, we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't even try to do that. We should vote with our sense. You've seen how we've gone through just this little 5 years that, Edgar Lungu has been in power. You've seen just how much we've gone through. Yes, policies need to change, Sally, I agree. Policies need to change. And the only way that a policy can change is a total new regime, a new government. You see the struggles that South Africa and Zimbabwe are having right now is because it's the same regime. It's only a different president. So nothing much will change, Nothing much. They still stick by their values. Zimbabwe is going worse right now because, the president was just the vice president then. Same thing with South Africa. So for you to see a total change, you would have to change a whole regime. And guys, 2021, sometimes I feel like 2021 is too far, but we are really at a point, we're at a crossroads, guys. So, thank you for tuning in. Please like my page, follow my page, and share this video on my page, please. The people need to hear about this. I'll try to be live as much as I can, maybe every day or at least maybe on weekends. But if there's a booming story about people being a nuisance, politicians, of course, you see more often of these videos. So thank you very much and enjoy your day.